ما أريد من هذا الشعب إلا أن يزيد في الحمد والشكر إلى الله عز وجل، ويزيد من محبة الوطن، ويزيد من العمل ومضاعفة العمل لما يسعى فيه من خير له وللدولة والأهل. هذا اللي أنا أدوره من الشعب، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقنا جميعا على ما يحب ويرضى.
With over 35 years of experiences specializing in innovative technologies such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and cybersecurity, he has made significant contributions across various sectors. He is Mr. Jorge Sebastiao, the founder of Ecox. Stay tuned.
Actually, UAE has been amazing. I've had the chance and the pleasure to meet people from all the key families in at least 3 out of the 7 Emirates.
Welcome everyone to your favorite program, Pairs of Union, which invites the most successful people here in the UAE. Our inspiring guests have set a title for success and ambition. Our inspiring guests have moved from the darkness of challenges to the light of success. And our special guest for today is Mr. Jorge Sebastiao, the founder of Ecox. Welcome, Mr.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here and to be part of your program. My name is Jorge, as we mentioned, and I've come from a technology background, and I have the chance of visiting quite a few places, but I'm originally Portuguese Canadian, so I study in both locations, speak multiple languages, but originally studied in technology and mathematics. So that led me to see the entire journey of technology with all the entire evolution from the old, what we call IBM mainframes, to cloud computing, to 5G, IoT, which is used today, and sensors in industrial IoT. And there's many more, of course, recent technologies, and these include things like artificial intelligence that have been around for a long time but became more popular. And then other technologies like, for example, cybersecurity, which has become very important for protection of information. And of course, blockchain, which is also a technology of decentralization and a technology of trust. So of course, all these technologies come with a lot of challenges, and we are here to help address these challenges.
And Internet of Things.
Yes, Internet of Things is actually an important aspect because today, the most valuable asset for an organization or a corporation or a government entity is actually its information. So how you generate that data and how you get that data as closely collected as possible, then IoT plays an important role. I can give you an example that we implemented originally in Dubai is what we call like smart parking, which we put IoT sensors on the ground on Sheikh Zayed Road. And these sensors speak 5G language, so they connect directly to the cellular towers, and they're able to know if there's a car there, if there's no car there. And based on that, people can reserve their parking spot, and the application can direct them to the closest available parking in a very flexible way.
And how did you start your journey in the world of business?
My journey in the world originally started as a technologist, so I've run quite a few large technology companies. I ran a company known as Computer Associates CA, which is at the time was the #2 software company in the world. So I spent about 5 years in Canada and 5 years in the Middle East. So we saw both organization in both locations go from something like 20, 30 employees to sometimes more than 300. Following that, I also spent a lot time running my own cybersecurity company for 10 years. When I came in 97 to the region, there was not too many knowledge about cybersecurity. So I ran actually the first cybersecurity course in 1999 at the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce, not too far from here, and people came from Saudi Arabia and other locations to learn about the new risks of cybersecurity at the time in what we call Windows environments. So obviously all of this has evolved quite greatly, and I spent some time in ITS, which is a big outsourcing company based out of Kuwait, owned by Kuwait Finance House, which is a bank. But we had at the time about 3,000+ employees. We developed software for banks, Ecox today is known, software for education, and software for telecom. Some of that software ended up being sold to Huawei, which is the largest telecom manufacturer company in the world today. So I did spend 5.5 years as Chief Technology Officer of Huawei for about 20 countries in the region. And in the last 6 to 8 years, we've been spending a lot of time helping technology startups to actually succeed. When I first came here, there was no startups. People were just mostly doing trade or bringing technology from outside and reselling it. But in the last 8 to 10 years, what has happened is that there's local startups that come from university students with ideas. And of course, as they create new technology companies, they need approaches to succeed. So yesterday, actually, I had some meetings at Abu Dhabi University. Abu Dhabi University, maybe about 30 minutes from here, actually started a new research center for graphene. Graphene is a technology that takes graphite, which is what you use in a pencil, and it creates a very thin layer, and it has many applications for cleaning the ocean, for charging batteries more rapidly, for making smaller IoT devices, for charging batteries for electric cars much faster, and so on. So there's a multitude. So the future on these startups and technologies is very exciting because there's a new concept that has been started here, which is, since the flag is here, it's called Made in the UAE. So UAE is pushing for local talent that graduated from the universities to actually creating industrial decisions here and to create local businesses that eventually will expand and be world leaders in the technologies that they provide.
So, sir, great. You have rich experiences and you have a successful journey. So, what are the major challenges that you have faced during this journey?
Well, the challenges has been quite a few because to some extent you can say only about maybe 3% or 5% of, in some cases even 10% of the startups succeed. So that really means out of 10, maybe one will stay and continue its journey. So that means if you're in this new technology, you have to have persistency and consistency and endurance. So the first important aspect is to basically learn from your mistakes, get up, and continue the journey. But I would say that we have created what we call sometimes a successful formula for startups to be successful. And we call this like another TV station called MBC. Maybe you've heard about it from Saudi Arabia. And these 3 letters is like a mathematical equation for success. And we find that for startups to be successful, they need M for money, they need B for brains, and they need C for connections. Now, money means investment. So it means startups need enough investment to explore different ideas over a period of time until they find a successful one. Number 2 is brains. They need access to smart people, qualified people. They could be technicians, but not necessarily. They could be marketing people, business development. They could be trainers or other resources. But the most important is not the first M or the B, is actually the C, which is the connections. Connections is about relationships. It's about business development. It's about sales. It's about growing the business to actually be successful. So at Ecox, what we have done is we started 8 years ago. We have done probably more than 600 events over the last 8 years. And we put these startups on stage. We make panels with them. We have organized conferences, like a one-week conference on blockchain as an example, where we bring leaders from around the world to actually talk about their level of expertise and experiences. And then we get these startups to learn from these approaches.
And sir, who have been your supporters, your mentors?
My mentors over the year have been from so many of them. Starting in Canada, there's a famous Chinese guy named Peter Liu that was heading Ottawa Hydro. He started as a guy putting tapes on a mainframe, and he finished as being the CIO of the company. So he showed me that you can start very small and do very basic tasks, but eventually you can actually run the company at the technology level. Other than that, there's been many colleagues that are leaders in cybersecurity. I've worked in cybersecurity for 22 plus years. So many of them have written many books. I've only written one, but I have 2 more books coming up. So for example, one is called Winnie Schwartz from US, and he has written many books about security awareness. He wrote the first book called Cyber Pearl Harbor, which is the risks about cybersecurity to countries and cities. There's John McAfee, which is the famous guy that writes antivirus software. There's, for example, Eugene Kaspersky, which is also antivirus, but from Russia, so from different parts of the world. So it's important to get good feedback and good advice from people who have many diverse experiences. And the more diverse experiences, both culturally and technically, that you have, then you achieve better success.
Now let's talk about Ecox. How was the first step of creating your own business, and also what inspired you to create Ecox?
Well, first, Ecox is not created by one person. We're a team of 4 people. Some from Italy, some from Germany, some even from Eastern European countries. So we came together and we started to organize regular reunions about technology. Most initial reunions was maybe like 20, 25 people. But the most important thing is that we met regularly every week and we had discussions. So eventually these 25 people grew to 40, 50. We have had reunions with 150 people. We still do it on a weekly basis, maybe with the exception of summer or during New Year's where there's less people because everybody goes outside. But during the busy times, we hold anywhere from 1 to 3 events. We have done it in 18 different locations. So we have gone to London, we have gone to Lisbon, we have gone to Bahrain, we have gone to Hong Kong, Singapore. So that really means we have been able to address the diversity across the region, not just the Middle East, but also Africa, Europe, and Southeast Asia as well.
So you are expanding all over the world, actually.
Well, people come to us because they request our assistance. See, today, once somebody maybe 20 years ago graduated, they would find a job somewhere and they would stay at that job for the rest of their life. Today is a bit different. When somebody graduates from university, they're asked, okay, what do you want to do as a business? Yes, maybe they have an idea, but then they need assistance, incubation, so that their idea grows to actually be a successful business. So what we do is we provide them the ingredients to help them basically succeed in creating that business, providing training, assistance, resources, access to financial capital, and then relationships so that that business can expand in a successful way.
And sir, what are the plans and the strategies that you have implemented to achieve success and also to achieve the goals of your company?
I think what is important, and there's, I would say, 3 or 4 things that are important. Of course, is the relationship and the environment that makes you successful. And I think family is an important element of that support. But other than that is to have an attitude to never give up. And I think this is very local to United Arab Emirates, where I remember there's one of the most interesting ministries, which is the Ministry of Possibilities. And that really means you can have any idea, no matter how crazy it is, but the government will help you study it and see if it is possible to turn that idea into a business. Then I think that any idea, even if it's good or not so perfect, goes through 3 different stages. It's a bit like the rain, you have an idea, it's vapor, means it's not exist yet. So you need to make it liquid. Liquid is like condensation of water. So you need to create a product. You need to create what we sometimes call in our world a MVP, minimal viable product. That means something you can demonstrate and you can show that it actually works as a solution. But the last stage is more important, is when it becomes solid. So it's like ice cubes. It means it's strong. It can withstand, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. After 3 years, most businesses will succeed if they live successfully the first 3 years. So ideas goes through vapor, liquid, solid. Solid means when the business can scale and actually grow to actually be successful.
Of course, sir, since you have started this company until now, you have made lots of achievements, right? So what are the most important contributions or achievements that you are most proud of today?
I think what I'm most proud of today is to help actually these startups to actually be successful and to take them from a little baby, not yet capable of taking care of itself, to allow it to actually succeed and deliver a solution that people use on a daily basis. I remember one of my good colleagues by the name of Brock Pierce, which has worked in our industry for many, many years. He was actually one of the original creators of Tether, which today is the most used digital asset currency. It's called a stable coin. And he created an interesting definition that I find is very powerful. And is what he calls, what is a definition of a modern billionaire? And a definition of this modern billionaire is somebody who creates a solution that actually helps 1 billion people. So it's not really about making a lot of money, but it's rather having a solution that addresses a problem of a whole population that needs assistance. So people say, where there's 1 billion people? Well, there's 1 billion people all around us. There's 1 billion people in India, there's 1 billion people in China, there's 1 billion people in Africa, there's 2 billion Muslims, 2 billion Christians. So all these communities need solutions that help them grow and be successful and the aspirations that they're looking for.
Sir, thanks to its facilities, the UAE attracts all people from all over the world to come here and to create their own businesses. So how has the UAE facilitated business growth and made it easier for companies to operate and expand in this market?
Actually, UAE has created something quite unique by expanding things that have been done in other parts of the world. One example is places like Singapore, which are very small, but they've been able to grow quite successfully. So places like the UAE, which is a union of 7 emirates, and each one has their own strengths, they brought the capability to have safety. So one most important thing, why people move here, because it's safe. There's disruptions, wars going all over the place. So people need safety so their families can go to school and nobody needs to worry. Then they need facilities so that they can register their business, that they can have easy of transportation and have all the facilities to allow their business to work. They need to have access to human capital, so it means qualified individuals. So for example, in places like Knowledge Village today, there's probably somewhere between 40 and 50 universities that operate a lot with the brands from outside, which means that you can get qualified people from a multitude of universities that can actually help your business succeed. So all these ingredients together make success. There's other ones that I think have been very important. For example, Emirates Airlines allows connectivity, means you can be in any part of the world within a few hours because you can reach that very easily. The free zones have been extremely important. So today there's probably close to 40 or 50 free zones. The first one is probably Jebel Ali, where people are able to bring goods. But today the free zones go beyond just goods. They go into services, they go into technology. That means you can create technology in that free zone, incubate it, and then export that all over the world in a very easy way.
Now, sir, if I ask you about the meaning of success, how can you define success?
Well, for me, success means when you're able to help individuals or organization achieves their goals. That's it. If you are able to provide them the necessary ingredients for them to succeed, then magic happens.
Sir, lots of people from audience, they are a new generation and they see from your story something special inspired them. So what is your advice to the new generation and also to young entrepreneurs who want to create their own businesses in the same field?
Well, I think the most important aspect when you are trying to succeed is have something that is in your heart, something that inspires you. So you need to have the energy that you pour into your business, because you're going to spend lots of time working in that business. So you have to have passion. So if you have passion for something, then more likely you'll be successful. Then surround yourself with a qualified team of people that help you succeed. That's why I told you need the 3 ingredients: money, brains, and connections. Maybe you have the brains, but you need relationships with people that have the money and the relationships, so they take your idea and they expand that idea to actually be successful.
The UAE has for sure contributed to your success story. So what is your appreciation message you would like to convey through our episode to the UAE and its rulers?
Actually, UAE has been amazing. I've had the chance and the pleasure to meet people from all the key families in at least 3 out of the 7 Emirates. So I've met people like Maktoums, which are from Dubai, El Nayan from Abu Dhabi, and Al Qasimi from Sharjah. And each one has a slightly different approach, but they share the same common vision for unification and success.
Thank you so much, sir. It was my pleasure talking with you today. Best of luck.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Dear audience, this is the end of our episode. Watch us next week. Goodbye.